The world's a dangerous place. Get the industry's original and most trusted laser sighting system from Crimson Trace. A laser and light systems will enhance your effectiveness and help keep you and your family out of harm's way.
Lock and load. It's time to load up on some intellectual ammunition with Tom Gresham's Gun Talk. It doesn't matter if you learn to shoot with Daniel Boone or you're brand new. You're welcome here. This is the original national talk show about guns, and Tom Gresham is your guide through the maze of ballistics and politics. So grab your phone and call in right now, 866-825-5486, or just dial 1-TOM-TALK-GUN. Now, here's Tom.
I'm a gun owner.
Your views, advice, and questions are the driving force of Gun Talk.
You know, I don't think that guns are scary things.
Visit us online at www.guntalk.com. Call Tom now at 866-TALK-GUN, 866-825-5486. Let us know what you think about the gun-related issues of the day. Now, back to Gun Talk.
All right, glad that you stayed with us, or if you just joined us, glad you're here. We are here every Sunday. By the way, if you happen to hear this another time, just make a note. You can still call us, even if you're getting this on a time-shifted or, in effect, a DVR delivery. Just give us a call, 866-825-5486. We're on the air live from 2 to 5 Eastern Time on Sundays. Got folks who have called in. We do have room for you if you'd like to join us. We're talking about guns that we have tried, guns that we like, getting range reports from you. Obviously, if you have questions, comments, if you're maybe even just thinking about buying your first gun. And look, I get it. Buying a gun is intimidating. It is a little scary. You're not sure. You may not even be sure about your decision. You know, is this a smart thing to do? In some cases, it's actually not. Depends on your motivation, depends on your situation, depends on a lot of different things. I have on occasion told people, says, no, I'm afraid you probably don't need a gun for your situation. So if you're not sure, if you just want a sounding board, somebody to run this past, by all means give us a shout. Again, 866-TALK-GUN. That'll get you in. Let's see. Line 2, Dennis is in Jacksonville, Florida. Hey, Dennis, how are you?
Good. How you doing?
I'm good. What you looking for?
I was kind of curious about that Burris Eliminator.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know if maybe you had, seen one or...
Yeah, I've seen it. I've not actually played with it much, but I've seen them and handled them.
Okay, yeah, because, like a minute ago when you said something about your optic should probably be equal to the cost of your rifle. And sometimes I have a problem with, man, you look at these nice scopes, $1,000, $1,200, and it's like, whoa, man, I don't know if I want to spend that much money on a scope.
Well, it just depends on what you're doing. Now, I understand that the previous conversation was very specific. We were talking about a precision rifle for long-range shooting. So you need a rifle that the adjustments are absolutely repeatable and it's top quality. When you're shooting at 600, 800, 1,000 yards and you need to be able to go back and forth on distances and dial in your windage and go back and forth, you need a really, really, really precise optic. If you're talking about something for deer hunting or elk hunting or antelope or hogs, the truth of it is you don't need something that's quite that much, so you don't have to spend that kind of dollars. What are you looking for? What are you going to do with the scope?
Okay, like 50, 100 yards, hunting, target practice.
Yeah, no. You don't need to spend that kind of money at all. I'm talking about shooting at 1,000 yards, more than half a mile. That's a whole different deal.
Yeah, okay.
No, for what you're talking about, honestly, if it were me, I'd be looking for something in the low range, the low magnification range, 1 to 4, 1.5 to 5 ballpark. 5 power, 4 or 5 power gets you out to 400 yards easy. 1 power is perfect for those 25, 50, 75, even 100-yard shots, especially the fast shots you might have to take.
Okay, so right now the 7mm I'm going to have a Leopold Rifleman 50 power, and it's dead on at 100 yards. But I was looking at that other at Burris, just seems like a really nice. It's got the rangefinder, bullet drop, everything built in it. Just push the button and okay. I wanted your opinion on what that Burris or the EOTech, the combination, the sight and magnifier for a Trijicon?
Well, you're talking about very different things for all of those. And here's the other thing you got to take a look at. You mentioned shooting at 50 or 100 yards. You don't need bullet compensation for 50 or 100 yards or 200 or even 300 yards. With a 7mm, I assume you're shooting a 7mm Magnum?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, you can sight that thing on to hit 3 inches high at 100 yards, hold on out to 300 yards. You could do that with iron sights or anything else. You don't need bullet drop compensation for that rifle, for doing what you're doing. There is a danger of overbuying sometimes in optics and getting something that's real cool and gee whiz and all of that stuff. And then you realize, man, I got all this stuff in here. All I needed was a fixed 2.5 or 4 power scope or a 1.5 to 4. And by the way, you mentioned a 50 power scope. You do not have a 50 power scope. You have a 50mm objective. But my guess is it's probably a 3 to 9 power. But the 50 is just the diameter of the lens, the lens that is closest to the thing you're looking at. That's not the one that's close to your eye. So it's important when you're doing all this scope stuff to understand the numbers. If you're not clear on the numbers, give me a holler. I can explain that. Okay, I'm a self-described, and I admit it, I am an optics geek. Love optics. 3 to 9 by 50, all of that. And here's the other question. Do you need 50mm out there? Do you need a 30mm tube? Do you think those two are going to make your scope brighter? Okay, I'll take it to the end of the question. No, they don't. They may offer some advantages, but they're not necessarily going to make things brighter for you. 866-TALK-GUN. We're open for questions and your comments.
The XDM 3.8 Compact from Springfield Armory is 2 guns in 1. Use as your concealed carry gun with a compact magazine and use the extended magazine for home defense. Carry 13 rounds of 9mm in the compact magazine and a whopping 19 rounds in the extended magazine. To see the entire family of Springfield Armory XDM pistols, go to SpringfieldArmory.com. That's SpringfieldArmory.com.
One machine, one operator. Each machine is run by a single pair of hands. Hands that spend all day, every day, learning the machine inside and out. We don't believe in quotas. The point is crafting faultless ammunition, no matter how long that takes. It's not quick or easy. Being the best never is. Black Hills Ammunition. It started with our hands.
What's that?
It's my Trijicon.
What's a Trijicon?
Only the best rifle scope in the world.
Says who?
How about the U.S. Marine Corps, Special Forces, Navy SEALs? You heard of these guys?
Sure.
Well, they're all using Trijicons.
Let me see it. Wow, this is really sharp.
And a lot of professional hunters are using Trijicon, too. You probably caught it on some TV and radio shows.
Yeah, I have heard some of them swear by their Trijicon.
I swear by it.
You know, I could have been a Navy SEAL.
Well, the closest you're going to get now is buying a Trijicon.
Hey.
Trijicon is the brand of rifle scopes that more and more hunters are swearing by. That's because every Trijicon is handcrafted using the finest optic materials. The bright aiming point can guarantee you a great hunt from dawn to dusk. Get your Trijicon at a dealer near you or visit them on the web at Trijicon.com. That's Trijicon.com. Trijicon. Brilliant aiming solutions.
Gun Talk encourages you to support the local sporting goods store, gun stores, ATV dealers, and other local businesses in your area who advertise on this station and Gun Talk. Only together can we protect our rights. You're listening to Tom Gresham's Gun Talk.
All right, 866-TALK-GUN gets you in here. Also, tom@guntalk.com. Let's see. Let's go to line 1. Joe is in Waco, Texas. Hello, Joe. You're on Gun Talk.
Hey, Tom. How you doing today, sir?
I'm good, thank you.
I got a question. I was at my favorite gunsmith, and he had a really cool Ruger LCR and 22 Magnum. Right. And I wanted to buy it. And I told him my intention was to fire, 22 long rifle and 22 Magnum out of it. And he said, "Oh, you can't do that." I said, "Why?" He said, it's something about the pressure. I said, you don't know really why? He said, no. I said, well, I'm going to call an expert and find out. So here we are.
Well, if you find one, let me know, and let me know what he says, okay?
I mean, I've got a 357. I can shoot 38 special through it. 44 Magnum, you could a 44 special through it. So why not a 22 long rifle and a 22 Magnum revolver?
Okay, you'll notice that back the old Ruger single 6, great revolver, you got 2 different cylinders, one for 22 Magnum and one for 22 long rifle. You do not shoot 22 long rifle in there. There are a couple of reasons, and it's not about pressure as far as I know. The one that I think I remember, and somebody's probably going to have to help me, okay, but with a 22 long rifle, obviously the case is shorter. If you shoot a bunch of those in a chamber for the 22 Magnum, you're going to have a ton of unburned powder and crud and stuff inside the chamber of your revolver. And my guess is you would not even be able to get a 22 Magnum case in there after a while.
Yeah, that sounds like a maintenance problem.
Could be. If you are somebody who takes care of stuff, maybe it's not an issue for you. Now, I also seem to, now this is going to be it's like really vague in the back of my mind, and I could have made this up somewhere, that there is a slight, ever so slight difference in bullet diameter. Now, I know we shoot them through the same barrels, and I don't know if that's an issue with this, if it has anything to do with the barrel cylinder gap or anything else. And so this is where I say it doesn't ring right in my ears. It's kind of like I'm thinking, that can't be it. But here's what I'm going to have to do, Joe. I'm going to have to ask for some help on this one. If somebody can fill us in, give me a call and say, okay, what is the real reason we're not supposed to shoot 22 long rifle in a revolver cylinder that's chambered for 22 Magnum? Because now you got me curious, man. I'm thinking, why is that? Darn you!
Tom. I'll be listening. I'll be listening on the radio. Thank you. I appreciate it.
All right, appreciate that. 866 Talk Gun. Chuck's on line 2 out of Texas. Hey, Chuck.
Tom, the fellow looking for the ballistics information, just go ahead and buy a copy of Windows 7 or really 7 Pro. You could get 7 for like $75. 7 Pro is going to cost you $125. Yeah. And that way, 7 Pro has the XP emulation. It'll run anything you ever want to run. It's very stable. And you're really going to be much better off to scrub what came on that computer anyway, because there's so much overhead trash on there that you don't need, will never use, and all it'll do is slow you down. Just go buy a copy of 7 Pro and do a clean install, and your computer will work beautifully. The fellow with the 22 Magnum, the problem is with 22 long rifle, you got very soft lead, internally lubricated bullets, and they're going to lead up that chamber like crazy. You know, it would just be a maintenance nightmare. If you're running 38 and 357, typically you're running a harder cast bullet or a jacketed bullet or something like that. And, you know, the leading is a problem, but it's manageable. But a 22 long rifle and a 22 Magnum chamber is just going to be an absolute nightmare. It's a soft lead bullet. They've got the grease grooves, you know, glue grooves. They're internally lubricated. You're just going to have a terrible mess trying to maintain that thing. I honestly would not even think of doing it. That's kind of what I was thinking. If the issue was gunking up the chamber, and then you just really couldn't get a 22 Magnum in there, and I think that's going to be what the real issue there is. That's always been a problem with the police when they practice with 38 and then they forget, you know, to try to clean that chamber out, and they try to put a 357 in there, and man, it just flat won't fit. Okay. All right, we got some other folks who called in. Carl says that a 22 mag case is slightly thicker, so 22 longs are sloppy, and the case can burst in the 22 Magnum chamber. Maybe that's what I was remembering. There's something kind of like that. Hey, we're still looking for some clarification. Also, on the Windows issue, what Chuck was saying is if you do that, you're probably going to have to reformat, which, you know, now that I think about it, I think I want to go do that to the one we got in our office. We got a machine with Windows 8 on it. Awful. All right, we'll be right back.
trophy is in range, make sure you have the right bullet. Federal Premium Ammunition uses superior components and innovative technology in its Vital Shock line of big game cartridges. The new trophy-bonded tip bullet is built for deeper penetration, higher weight retention, and it's deadly accurate. Federal Premium Ammunition. Every shot counts.
In my world, there are no helpless victims. There is no weaker sex. In my world, pain comes from fear, and fear is not an option. But my world is just like yours. Only difference, how I choose to defend myself.
Introducing the Carry-On series from Taurus, the ultimate collection of concealed carry firearms designed for discreet, reliable personal protection. Visit TaurusUSA.com to learn more.
Carry on.
TopGunSupply.com carries a large selection of fine firearms and accessories. Get all the parts you need for your Sig Sauer, HK, and Glock pistols. Grips, screws, recoil springs, sights, barrels, magazines, holsters. The list goes on. Our knowledgeable sales staff, professional service, great prices, and super fast shipping are here to help you. Check us out today. TopGunSupply.com. TopGunSupply.com.
Have you ever held a Walther? Walther handguns are an extension of your hand. From the moment you hold the ergonomic grip of a Walther, you feel the difference. Today, Walther continues its long tradition of expertise in firearm design with the introduction of 3 incredible new handguns. The smooth PPQM2, the tough PPX, and the cool PPKS22. Log on now at WaltherArms.com. Walther at your favorite retailer.
A famous radio consultant once said he'd be off the air in a year. Whoops! Defending your Second Amendment rights since 1995 on over 150 radio stations nationwide. You're listening to Gun Talk with Tom Gresham.
All right, back with you. Let's go to line 3. Charles is in Bossier City, Louisiana. Hey, Charles, how are ya?
Hey, how you doing?
Good. What you got there?
I've got a Browning A5 16 gauge that I recently bought. It's got the horn type butt plate on it with the F&N symbol on it and everything. I can't figure out if this is a Sweet 16 or if it's just a regular A5 16 gauge.
Well, that brings up the question: is what makes a 16 gauge Browning semi-auto a Sweet 16?
Right.
I don't know the answer to that. I just always thought they were all Sweet 16s. People just called on that because it was a 16 gauge Browning. Was there a specific model that they called the Sweet 16?
From what I understand, yes. From doing what research I could on it on the internet, there appears to be some vast differences in the Sweet 16 to a regular A5 16 gauge.
And I was not a fan of the humpback Browning when I was growing up. I had a buddy who had one. He had a Sweet 16. I, on the other hand, shot a Winchester Model 12 pump. And it's weird. If you get used to one, it's hard to shoot the other. And so I just never, ever got used to that big old humpback thing. So I honestly didn't pay any attention to them at all. Don't really know that much about them. So tell you what we'll do. We'll ask for some help on this one. If somebody knows, how do you tell the difference if something is actually a Sweet 16 versus just a 16 gauge Browning semi-auto, give me a holler. Also, I'm sure there's a Browning Collectors Association. Have you tried looking for those guys?
No, I haven't. I was going to take it to a gun show this weekend and see what I can find out about it. But other than that, I just know it's really old.
Well, tell you what you do. Go to the website, browningcollectors.com.
Okay.
That's pretty simple, browningcollectors.com. Then if they don't know it, I'll guarantee you there's nobody who knows, okay?
All right.
All righty. I appreciate it. Yeah, and if you know, give us a holler. I'd like to find out because, as I say, I was not a Browning guy. You came down, you grew up, and you shot Winchester or Remington or Browning when it came to shotguns, and maybe some Ithacas in there. But it was interesting. You rarely switch back and forth, it seemed to me. At least that was kind of my impression of the whole thing. So I don't know. Line 2, Bruce is out of Oregon. Bruce, help me out with this 22 long versus mag deal.
Okay. The bullets are the same diameter, and they increased the diameter of the case so they could extend it over the bullet and have an inside lubricated bullet on the 22 Magnum. You can shoot 22 WRF in it. And if you had any, I don't know why you'd waste them out, but you could shoot 22 auto in it. Your Winchester Remington.
Okay.
So
I see. That's what I kept thinking. Well, I remember way back hearing something about it being thicker, and I'm thinking, well, it can't be the bullet because we're shooting the bullets through the same barrels, so we know that can't be it. But I never thought about the case being thicker. That's interesting.
Yeah. So if you shoot it, the gun will go off and it's going to blow up, but the cases are going to bulge.
The case is a bulge, or if worst case, the case might split, but it still probably wouldn't be dangerous, but it's just not good.
Yeah. It's the same reason why a 38 takes a 357 bullet.
Right. And of course, those are the same diameter, so that's not an issue there.
Well, no. What it is originally in the muzzleloading pistols in the Civil War, the 36 Navy fired a 375 bullet, 38 caliber. Okay. And then when they first made the Colt, they used the same bullet, but put a heel on it, like the 22, and so the case was the same size as the bullet.
Right.
The heel set in like 22. Okay.
Gotcha.
And then when we get the 45 long Colt, they used the same powder charge, but they decreased the bullet diameter and extended the case out. And then they had to shoot it with a hollow base in order for it to shoot a 38 caliber bore.
I love this stuff. This is so gun geeky. This is like the best of all worlds. I mean, you can just get you can hold on. I mean, you can just get deeper and deeper into it as far as you want to go. Here's my problem, Bruce. We don't have enough time to go into the whole history of all of it, but you've given us good info on the 22 Magnum. And for those who just joined us, let me explain. And thank you, Bruce. I appreciate it. Good information. The question was, why can somebody not shoot a 22 long rifle in his 22 Magnum LCR, Ruger revolver? Well, it turns out that the case is actually a thicker diameter. It's larger diameter. It's not the bullet. So if you put a 22 long rifle in there, it probably would go off. In fact, it would. But the case might bulge and it might split. So that's why we don't do it. That's why you need two different cylinders in your revolvers. And some do have interchangeable revolver cylinders. 866-TALK-GUN. Give me your gun report.
One of Talker Magazine's 100 most important radio talk show hosts in America. You're listening to Gun Talk, heard every week at this time on great radio stations across America. Stay tuned. Gun Talk is coming right back. Covering all aspects of gun ownership every week on this fine radio station. You're listening to Gun Talk with Tom Gresham.
All right, back with you. 866-TALK-GUN. Don't forget, you can enter. It's your very last chance to enter for a chance to win a Trijicon ACOG, one of the coolest optics out there. Drop that thing on top of your AR, and you can have a lot of fun. It's a really high-quality optic, and really, it's unbelievably rugged. Great stories about using them in combat, and I mean things get shot, blown up, all kind of things, and they keep on working. So anyway, you can enter for a chance to win. All you have to do is go to guntalk.com/win. That's WIN. Guntalk.com/win, and we're going to be giving that thing away in just a few days here. So it'll be your chance to get in on that. All right, 866-TALK-GUN. Line 3, David is in Iowa. Hello, David. You're on Gun Talk. Hello, David. Okay, David went away. All right. David, if you can hear me, give us a call back. I'd like to find out what you think it is on this one. Line 2, Cody is with us out of Medford, Oregon. Hello, Cody.
Hey, Tom. You had a guy asking about talking about some gun trivia, and I wanted to bring up a book I just read. That's by Chris Kyle. It's the story of the United States told through 10 different guns.
Right.
It's got a lot of interesting trivia, but My question was concerning hammerless 38s. My mother-in-law purchased one, and when you fire that thing, it just kicks the hell out of your palm of your hand. I was wondering if that goes away as it breaks in or what?
Well, it goes away as you lose all of the feeling in your hand.
Exactly.
Well, which model do you have? What kind of 38 is it? It's a Smith & Wesson?
Smith & Wesson.
Yeah. All right, here's the problem. We're talking about a very light gun. Does it have the original little skinny grip on it?
No, she replaced those with laser grips.
Okay, well, that helps anyway. The problem is it's really a matter of pure physics. Is you have a small, lightweight 38, and it just is not going to absorb much of the recoil energy itself. If you have a great big heavy gun, of course, the recoil has to move the heavy gun before it gets to your hand. A light gun, it just kind of comes right through the gun and hits your hand. There's not much you can do about that other than having a really good grip on it and grip it just almost like with a death grip. The other thing I would suggest is if you're just out shooting it for fun, get the lightest loads you can get, like wad cutter. Look for target loads, 38 wad cutter loads. They really have low recoil. They shoot great, punch nice clean holes in paper, and then you just go ahead and fill it back up with real defensive ammo for self-defense, because you'll never feel the recoil if you have to shoot in self-defense. But there's not much you can do, man. A little light gun shooting heavy loads is just going to kick like the devil.
Yeah, I don't know if I could get the spring adjusted inside of it or what.
Well, that's not what it is. It has nothing to do with the spring. This is all about just the energy of the cartridge coming back into the palm of your hand.
Yeah, we tried some lighter loads, and it still bites you. I don't like it.
Yeah, it does. Well, this is why people always say, well, I'll get my wife wants a gun, I'm going to get her a little 38 snubby. I'm going, well, you may not be doing her a favor because they're not much fun to shoot. I mean, look, I like to shoot, and I don't like to shoot those very much. And I know a lot of guys who are great big guys who like to shoot, and nobody likes to shoot those a lot. Now, we'll shoot them, and we'll get pretty decent with them. But if I'm just going to go to the range, that's not a particularly fun gun. It's a very useful gun. It's a great self-defense gun, but it's not much fun to shoot. Cody List, I appreciate that. I will keep running here. Let's see. We'll talk to Trey on line 1. Hey, Trey, how you doing?
Hey, how you doing? First, I wanted to say I didn't realize your dad was Gresham, and they had a wonderful article on him in the Baton Rouge paper today in Baton Rouge, Louisiana.
Oh, really? I'll be darned.
Yeah, it was real good. I didn't realize the conservation efforts that he implemented and fought for in Louisiana. And also, I really enjoyed reading his articles in whatever magazine, either Field and Stream or Outdoor Life, when I was a teenager. But
yeah, he wrote for all of them. But then he was a columnist for Sports of Field. He wrote he was a shooting editor for Sports of Field for about 27 years. But yeah, before you go on, I just want to mention, my dad Gritz was also. What a lot of people didn't realize is that he has undergraduate and graduate degrees in wildlife management. And he was a conservationist first. He was one of the very first people to write about the loss of the coastal wetlands in Louisiana some 45 years ago, and was leading that charge way back. So, yeah, and one of the things he said was he was proudest of is back when he was hosting the American Sportsman TV show on ABC TV. He said he always managed to get a conservation message into every show. So, anyway, I just want to get that in. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Guy.
That was great. And also, I was going to comment on the Sweet 16. At one point in time, I believe Browning actually had engraved on the barrel Sweet 16. I want to say during the 70s or maybe 80s, they were making the gun. I don't know if everybody were calling them Sweet 16s, and then they just decided to do that, or if
I just got an email
that had it on there.
Right, I just got an email. Somebody said that the Sweet 16 model had an alloy receiver and a gold trigger, and that's how you knew. So it was a little bit different that way, but I appreciate that. I appreciate the call, and I appreciate the heads up. I had not seen that article. I'm going to grab a copy of, by the way, for those who don't know, that's the Baton Rouge Advocate. I got to grab a copy of that, and I wonder if that wasn't Joe Macaluso that wrote that. I'll have to take a look. I'm not sure who wrote that, but I'll take a look and see who that was. Let's see. We got David back from Iowa on line 2. David, thanks for hanging in there with us.
Hey, how are you?
I'm good, thank you.
Good. Just a quick comment. Won't take a lot of time. I fully support gun ownership, gun rights. In fact, my sister concealed weapon permit carries over at my suggestion. I choose not to carry a weapon.
Okay.
So there are some of us out there who, as I say, fully support the right, but in our own mind, choose not to carry.
Well, I think that's perfectly fine. I think it is. On this one, boy, I am pro-choice. Let me ask you, I would be interested in the thought, because it sounds like you've given this some thought. What was the thought process that led you to that decision?
Well, I had 30 years experience as a firefighter and saw many situations involving guns. A large percentage of them, a second gun would not have improved the situation. These people, in my mind, a majority of people who would use a gun do not truly know what they're doing, have never faced the experience, and it's so chancy. And if you've
but how does that affect you? How does that affect your decision? Because you're saying that's other people, but for David, why would you make that decision to not carry based on what somebody else does?
Having faced the situation of drawn on someone, I don't care to do that again. That decision to pull the trigger, in my mind, I'm just facing the situation. I choose not to go through that again. I will suffer the consequences, defend myself in other ways, but it's just not for me.
And look, I appreciate it. I get it. That is an absolutely valid decision for you to make. You have looked at it seriously, come to your conclusion, and I don't think anybody ought to second guess you on that. At the same time, some of us have looked at it and come to a different conclusion, and we would hope that people would not second guess us on that one either. It's not for everybody. It just isn't. And I applaud David for saying, look, if you're going to carry a gun for self-protection, get serious about it. Make it a commitment. Make sure that you get some kind of training every year, recurrent training, because your training does go away. And if you're not getting serious training, you're not serious about it. You know, you might end up being more of a problem than a solution. Just saying here, okay? So if you're carrying a gun, take it seriously, make a commitment, and I would offer carry anytime and every time you can, because the more you do it, the better you get out of it. And start thinking about it and talk to your loved ones about all the what ifs. 866-TALK-GUN.
The XDM 3.8 Compact from Springfield Armory is 2 guns in 1. Use as your concealed carry gun with a compact magazine and use the extended magazine for home defense. Carry 13 rounds of 9mm in the compact magazine and a whopping 19 rounds in the extended magazine. To see the entire family of Springfield Armory XDM pistols, go to SpringfieldArmory.com. That's SpringfieldArmory.com.
One machine, one operator. Each machine is run by a single pair of hands. Hands that spend all day, every day, learning the machine inside and out. We don't believe in quotas. The point is crafting faultless ammunition, no matter how long that takes. It's not quick or easy. Being the best never is. Black Hills Ammunition. It started with our hands.
What's that?
It's my Trijicon.
What's a Trijicon?
Only the best rifle scope in the world.
Says who?
How about the U.S. Marine Corps, Special Forces, Navy SEALs? You heard of these guys?
Sure.
Well, they're all using Trijicons.
Let me see it. Wow, this is really sharp.
And a lot of professional hunters are using Trijicon, too. You probably caught it on some TV and radio shows.
Yeah, I have heard some of them swear by their Trijicon.
I swear by it.
You know, I could have been a Navy SEAL.
Well, the closest you're going to get now is buying a Trijicon.
Hey.
Trijicon is the brand of rifle scopes that more and more hunters are swearing by. That's because every Trijicon is handcrafted using the finest optic materials. The Bright Aiming Point can guarantee you a great hunt from dawn to dusk. Get your Trijicon at a dealer near you or visit them on the web at Trijicon.com. That's TRIJICON.com. Trijicon. Brilliant aiming solutions.
Gun Talk encourages you to support the local sporting goods store, gun stores, ATV dealers, and other local businesses in your area who advertise on this station and Gun Talk. Only together can we protect our rights. You're listening to Tom Gresham's Gun Talk.
All right, back with you here. It's not often we get a call back this quickly. Justin is on line one. He has joined us again. Hey, he's the squeaky holster guy. Hey, Justin, what's going on, man?
Well, I'm not squeaking. Apparently.
All right. Wait. There are some of those who did not hear your call earlier in the show. So you called in, and you had a hybrid holster that you were wearing, and it had started squeaking. And our guess was that it had dried out a bit. The leather dried out, and so we came up with all these ideas what to do. So what did you do?
Well, basically, went down to the basement and went to my gun bench and just unholstered the firearm. Took all the ammunition out of it and made it safe, and set it to the side. And I don't know. I'm sure you've heard this stuff, Ballistol, and it's what I use for all my gun cleaning. I believe, I'm a firm believer in guns being made of wood and steel, and it says that it's supposed to be good for both. So, and for leather. So I decided, I called into you and saw what you thought about it, and I put a little bit on, and I put just a little bead right across the top, and it soaked it up so quick I barely had a chance to even move it around. And I did what you said. I took it off and I moved it around a little bit before I did anything to it, just to kind of, pinpoint right where it was. And it sounded like it was coming from all over the place, where the rivets were holding the kydex in place, where these screws were holding the clips in place, all over the place. It was wanting to do it. And so I put a nice coating on the top, and it took about 75 to 80% of it out. And then I took it back off, and I did just a really light coating to the back. And I know you recommended not to do that, but it made the difference. I let it soak in really well. I wiped it down as best I could. I let it soak in for about a half hour. So that way, anything it was going to pick up, it should have. And I wiped off all the excess, let it dry for about another 10 to 15 minutes, put it back on, and it's right as rain.
Well, isn't that something? That's great.
It worked out really good. And, I'm guessing if there's any of it left over, I'm not hearing it. So
that is wonderful. Well, good job. Look, and I appreciate you coming back so quick. You let us know that it worked out. I am congratulations. Wear that thing stealthily now. All right, very good. All right, let's see. Let's run up to line 3. Jeff's with us, Charlotte, North Carolina. Hey, Jeff, you're on Gun Talk.
Hi, Tom. I have a Taurus 740 Slim, and the problem I'm having is the slide is rusting and the mag release button is rusting. And I'm trying to get rid of that kind of a problem. I'm going to buy a Glock 29, and I don't want it to happen to that.
Are you wearing it every day?
Yes, I am.
Anything that has metal on it's going to rust if we wear it all the time, if we don't treat it at least once a week.
Yeah, I'm only doing it like every 2 weeks. I'm going to have to go back even more every week, so... And I use a cross-breed holster, and the holster gets soaked.
Take the gun out of the holster every evening when you come home. You know that, right?
I do. Yeah, I do.
Okay.
I do.
But yeah, I know what you're saying. I like this Brownell's Rust Preventative number 2. It's not a lube or anything else. It's just made for preventing rust. And I get it in the big 16-ounce bottles and 1-quart bottle or whatever it is. And I spray that stuff. And once a week, take it apart, clean it, and coat it with that, because I get the same thing. I'm down here in the steamy south, which is also known as the sweaty south, and it's interesting you mentioned it. The mag release button, for some reason, on several pistols gets a little bit of rust on it. A little gun oil and 4O steel wool. Rubbed on that, you can remove the surface rust from guns, and it doesn't remove the finish. So that's one way to go. But yeah, for everybody who's carried a gun, particularly in the summer, you're sweating on it, take it out of the holster in the evenings, let it air out, but also treat it with a good rust preventative.
Gun Talk stands for safety, personal responsibility, and common courtesy. To be a part of the show, call 1-TOM-TALK-GUN. Gun Talk will be right back.
All right, welcome back to Gun Talk. I was right. I checked online, and that article about my dad, Gresham, is in the Baton Rouge Advocate, written by Joe Macaluso, who was just inducted into the Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame, which was, well, actually last night. Very cool. So if you go to theadvocate.com and you do a search for Gresham, you'll find it there. Find a little bit about that. Also, I'm going to be... Well, if you get the podcast, if you get the bonus podcast, you'll be hearing a little bit more about grits. We'll have some more about that as we go along. Oh, off the air, somebody called and said to remove squeaks, they also do this on saddles. Talcum powder. Did not know that one. Bob's on line 4 in Oregon. Bob, you got yourself a Glock 42?
Yes, I do. It's a brand new Glock, number 380. Shoots 380 ammo for personal protection. I've heard about Glock, how enforcement guys, policemen have them. I'm just an old guy that goes out to the range and just plinks. So I did get one, and I went out, shot the Glock. It would not eject the shell. It will not eject it. I have to take the mag out, pull the release back, then the shell goes out, put the mag back in, and, pull the release thing and put the shell back in. So Glock said, send it back to us. Okay, so I did. I sent it back to Glock. They sent me the same gun. They said we did an upgrade here and an upgrade there. So I thought, great, went out, same thing. So anyway, I've got the same gun back twice, and it does the same thing. It shoots one time and will not eject the shell cartridge.
Okay, I know what's wrong.
What?
You notice how hard it is to work the slide on that gun? It's a real strong spring on that pistol?
Yes.
Okay, here's what's happening. You're not gripping it tightly enough, and you're not leaning into the pistol enough so that when it goes off, the gun is actually moving, and the slide needs a stationary frame to work against, so the slide can come all the way back and eject that shell. If the gun actually moves in your arms, or if you rock backwards when you shoot it, now the slide doesn't have a stationary frame to work against, and it can't eject the shell. Here's what you need to do. This is your drill. Take it back out to shoot it. Get an absolute death grip on this gun with both hands. Okay, not with the right hand sitting down into your left hand like it's a cup and saucer, but wrapping your left hand around your right hand. Grab the devil out of it. And now both arms are out and lean forward until your nose is over your toes. And if you're locked in and you got a good grip on it, I'll guarantee you that gun will work.
Okay.
And that's not a Glock issue. That's not a Glock issue. That's an issue with all of these really small 380s, and now that we have small 9mm, you've got to give them a lot of resistance for them to work. It's just the nature of the beast. It's pure physics. They've got to have a strong spring to work, and that's just what it is. So, by the way, I have one of these Glock 42s, and we've had the same thing. We've realized, okay, this is a really, really strong spring. If you shoot it one-handed and you're not really leaning into it, you'll get a failure to eject, or you'll get some kind of a misfeed. You just got to lean into these guns and get a really strong grip on them, and that's just the proper way to shoot them. I wish you luck with it. I guarantee you that's going to work. If you've had any kind of problems with little semi-autos, this is inherent, whether it's Springfield, Smith, Taurus, doesn't matter who, SIG, doesn't matter who makes it. This is an issue. And their customer service people are always getting these calls. Yeah, my gun's not cycling right. It's not feeding right. It's not, and they're all going, yeah, I know. I know exactly what it is. It's just hard to tell somebody, look, it's your shooting technique. You have to use a different shooting technique than you've used for full-size guns. And a proper grip, and again, if you're right-handed, wrap your left hand around so that your thumbs are together, not a cup and saucer deal. That doesn't help you at all. It doesn't do anything for you. Wrap it, grip it, grip it tighter, and then grip it even a little bit more tightly, and lean forward, nose over your toes, shoot that gun, lock it up. I guarantee it's going to work for you. 866-TALK-GUN. I'm Tom Gresham, and you're listening to Gun Talk.
No black helicopters here, just the facts about gun rights and gun ownership. This is Gun Talk.